I like him off the bench, and I think for me, if you've got a really good sub, I don't think you necessarily then have to turn him into a starter. I think we've just got a great sub.
You took the words out of my mouth there. I think you've got a lad who's impacting games and getting goals, and you know he scored a winner. He scored an equaliser, which obviously didn't turn out to be one that got us a point, but he's been high impact. I think that's probably where he is in the squad. And listen, I think we can improve on Gakpo in the long term. But for now, I think he is the starter. We need to embrace it. And what my thing with Gakpo is, I'm in a bit of a rock and a hard place. A lot of the time, I don't like the performance, but I like the output. And I know we're not currently getting the levels of goals he was scoring last season, but he can finish. And in a team that looks a bit blunt currently, there's not many more people I would want a chance to fall to than Cody Gakpo. So I'm all right, and especially in the game where I think it's going to be fine margins at the weekend, if the ball just happens to drop at the back post and Gakpo's there, I'm almost certain he'll put it away.
Where are you with it, Phil, left side?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would, over the course of the season, I think I would want it to be Ekitike, Isak and Salah as the first go-to front three, but I think there's probably arguments about Isak is probably not able to do 90 in a game of this level. Ekitike's obviously got off injured, so you'll probably be looking at a combination of the two of them taking up the 90 minutes, wouldn't you? And then I think Gakpo, it depends what you do with Wirtz, doesn't it, in terms of if it's, I think I'll probably put Wirtz on the left ahead of Gakpo if we go if we go with the midfield that Paul has suggested. Or
do you want it to look different though than it did at Palace? Or do you think that was a design, or do you think that was just how it ended up being because of the players?
I think when you go 1-0 down after 15 minutes, was it 15, 20 minutes against Palace, something like that, wasn't it? Any sort of plan you have goes out the window. So I would like to, basically, my starting point is not go 1-0 down.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the narrative about the last two performances has been driven by the fact that the game has changed massively, and we've played two teams who are very good at being organised and make it difficult for us, and we're then in a situation where well, we've got the points, you've got to come and take them off us, and it was really hard doing. It wasn't a position we would go 1-0 down in games last season, but we weren't in a position where it would be battering a door, not necessarily battering a door down, but having to sort of work out how to get them, and probably not ideal teams to go 1-0 down to. So I'd like to primarily don't go 1-0 down. That would be my starting point, but just move the ball quicker, stop giving the ball away. I think if we're less sloppy in possession and don't go 1-0 down, that will go a long way to making this football team better. And it's one of those things that sounds really easy, but when you're watching them do it, it's like, this just feels like the hardest thing in the world. And that's been the problem for me. The last two games, it's been found like you're making this look like a million times harder than everything is.
It's hard to get into their mindsets at the moment, Amelia. I keep thinking about, mentioned before, what happened in the summer, which I think some people are forgetting about it a little bit because the start was so strong, but we'll still be with them. There's the familiarity thing that we've all talked about. There's them going onto the pitch, maybe not being quite sure, as Paul said before, what is it we're trying to do at the moment. They'll be feeling a little bit unsure and a little bit uneasy. I think it is fair to say, but there'll also be, you'd imagine, a huge determination to put it right. There's big players within the squad who've won a lot for Liverpool. Even the others who come in are proven winners and used to play at the very highest level. And there should be, and I'm sure there will be, a huge determination within this squad to put on a performance and a good win on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's why the confidence element of Tuesday is kind of most surprising, because it's a Liverpool team who should, in theory, be able to arise to an occasion like that really easily, but it's also somewhere very different. And it's not, Tuesday wasn't a fixture that they go into as kind of like plucky upstarts that have somehow managed to find their way into that competition and no one expects them to go far and isn't it nice that they've had a go kind of thing. It was the opposite. And I think that's why I'm actually a bit more optimistic about the weekend, because in terms of familiarity for some of them, we've done this before, we know the team that we're up against, and while they're all still getting to know each other and getting to know how we're going to set up, I kind of think they've got much more of a basis to go into the weekend feeling really confident, feeling familiar and knowing who they are and what this Liverpool team can do going into this fixture.
It's where Virgil's massive. People like him, isn't it, Paul? Leaders in the team, people who set the standards, not just in games but in training. Their messaging is really important here.
I think so. And you do need to look at that leadership and experience. But you know, the majority of that team are title winners. So
Yeah.
it's not just, doesn't just fall to Virgil. You know, there's a lot of them that can take ownership for the situation that we found ourselves in the last couple of days. So Liverpool just need to remember who they are, and like the champions, the favourites for the Champions League, the favourites for the Premier League, or at least were. So they need to just get back to. There's a reason they were favourites. They've got an amazing squad, a great manager. They just needed to work, and finding that balance is the task for the manager for the weekend.